So it's Skellige versus Syndicate on red. All right. So, Poisound starting off with a bounty, generating 3 coins. Nequiz here going with Carl. Not playing her though. Interesting. Obviously playing Carl now would result in unnecessary damage that's just wasted. It seems to be the only proactive card Nequiz can actually afford to play right now, which is interesting. Which hunter decides to go for the boat makes sense. You don't want that boat continuously damaging a card, giving armor to Nequiz's Terror of the Seas. Now Carl will definitely be used, I guess, and hopefully Burnout Brand can grab onto something that's actually proactive and that can be spent. Nequiz's hand is very strong right now. Very, very bad in a way, because it's a lot of overcommitment. If you play Burnout Brand now, you're gonna have to discard 2 cards, and chances are you might have to discard a gold that you can't afford to discard. That might be the reason we see Heime's Scald on the board, but not Burnout Brand yet. This is very awkward. Nequiz is now on 7 cards, can afford to just opt out if need be. Goes for Burnout Brand and is definitely going to regret it. My goodness. What did he expect's gonna happen? Oh no. Okay, well, both of those cards win. Junod is now in the graveyard. Definitely not ideal. And he's not any better off because of it. I mean, he's ahead, sure, but Poisound can catch up if need be. And there's no way Nequiz wants to commit any of the cards in his hand right now. Again, we have to take it from his perspective. He just lost a very, very important matchup against Cams. He's probably really angry after that, or at least very taken aback. And he is now very adamant on winning. At least I can see why he'd want to play aggressively. Okay, Poisound going for the Salamandra Mage. Does use the Tribute ability. Thanks for the follow, Space Samurai. And we see a pass here from Nequiz. Was it worth committing all those cards is the question. I mean, Poisound can just catch up with ease. It really depends. Maybe go down all the way to 4 cards, or maybe commit. Nicker's coming out. Wait, was that... Wait, Nequiz comes out at random. That was pure luck. What? Nequiz just got him. Nequiz just got him the round. He was willing to go down to 4 cards. That wasn't planned at all. That was unscripted, guys. Damn. When Nequiz unironically wins you the game. Okay, I'll reconsider my my stance on having Nequiz in this deck. Sure. Wow. Rigged? I mean, damn. The luck. Nequiz literally comes out at random, and it's something along the lines of every card you play increases his chances of coming out by like 10%. It's something along those lines. Point is, he does literally come out at random. Okay, Maxi. Not a bad card to have. Again, Poisound going with non-devotion, so can afford to play something like Maxi in the deck. He has Royal Decree as well, so he definitely has access to one of his win cons at will. Maxi just increases the chances of drawing into them in round 3. Okay, so Poisound currently on 7 cards. He can definitely pass here if he wants to have a full hand. Whether he wants to bleed is a different question, decides instead going into a long round 3. And Nequiz probably quite happy. He has the Sunset Wanderers right there on 9 points, 10 points. And he has quite a bit of carryover as well. Didn't have to commit things like the Terror of the Seas just yet. Still has Krach and Kreit. Also has Fukusha in hand, so if something dies, then he can just quickly get it back. That is unless it is banished with Heatwave. And I won't be surprised to see Heatwave being used on Krach and Kreit. That could very well be the target for it. Nice. Jock is great to draw. It's a very nice card because you have the Tribute ability, you have the Spender, and you have Salamander. So you definitely will have King of Beggars coming out. I'm curious whether Maxi was used to shuffle or whether Maxi was used to just peek at the deck, because that's a very good hand. Alright. We see Mushy Truffle coming out with a little Hafru. Now Poisound does still have a bit of an advantage here in the sense that he has Lasse. That's always good, especially if you run cards like Heatwave, so he can just hold on to that card and see whether he finds need for it later on. Okay, we see Slander coming down in the little Hafru. It's 6 points, not a bad target. Okay, so we're going to be playing Krach and Kreit now and have to decide what we want to give armor. I see the 2 boats got armor as well as Terror of the Sea, so nice options, definitely nice. Now, a Krach can either be stolen here, it can be heat waved, it can be killed. There are so many options, but either way, Krach and Kreit needs to go. It's a very strong pirate, and there's a reason everybody's including it in their onslaught decks. I have a feeling it might just get stolen. Yeah. It's the best value you're gonna get with Philippa, let's be honest. Oh yeah, and it's getting stolen. Very nice. Now, like Heatwave, it's not an option for Nequiz now to Fukusha it. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. What am I drinking? Tea. Green tea. Okay, so Poisound is taking his time here to think things over. He has a lot of options, to be fair. Quite a bit. He goes with Horse on Freak Show. Uses his last leader charge. Kills the little Hafru. Gets 6 coins back. Uses it again. Interesting. Take a sip. That muzzle seems unneeded. I also think it was overkill, I'm going to be honest. But that's merely because there are so many other targets that I feel are worthwhile. Especially the spenders. Okay. Gets rid of the Freak Show. Of course, the plan is to play Professor on Krach and Kreit and get all of that value in bounty for him. I'm sure that's the goal at least. The only problem is that Fukusha will now be able to get Krach back on the board. The only problem is if you're going to use Professor, you're gonna have too many coins at some point. So again, it's one of those things where you first have to play a spender so you can make sure you have control of the amount of coins and you don't over profit when you go for Professor on Krach and Crate. It makes sense. Hey Artsegard, how are you doing? Goes for the boat. Getting those cards in the red. Giving Terror of the Seas a lot of points. That's the goal of this deck. Get as many cards as you can in the red and it will pay off in the end. Okay, it's a good opportunity for Professor. It's certainly a good opportunity for Professor. I see no reason not to use Professor, but the setup has to be carefully calculated. Goes for the Heat Wave instead. Now see, that didn't have to be rushed. That could have been used later. So it's interesting the ordering Poisound chose here. Of course, Heat Wave isn't a unit, so if it can't get damaged and give more points to Nequiz's cards. And killing Krach and Crate too early might cause Fukusha to have value. That could also be the line here, trying to prevent Krach from getting back onto the board. Rather waiting, because Fukusha can't wait forever, especially if it's going to go for a smaller card. You need that rain to actually tick off and have enough turns to do so. Okay, using all the way down to 2 coins. And what do we play? Professor, alright. On Krach. Yep, there we go. All the way up to 9, uses it with Jock, perfectly calculated. I would not be surprised to see Fukusha come out with Krach now. Yeah. A burn-up ran. Oh, alright. What have we missed? Okay, so we already have 10 armor on that Terror of the Seas, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. So that's basically 10 points of damage right there. Okay. Interesting choice. Yeah, that Terror of the Seas is scary, man. That's gonna play for quite some points. You can basically kill Jock at this point. Uses Kurt to place a bounty on Burna Bran. I think that melee boat should come out now. There we go. Ping the Kurt. Nicely done. Still waiting. I wonder if the consideration was ever to use the Mushy Truffle order ability and boost Burna Bran, but it doesn't help, does it? It's definitely still in reach. As you can see, 8 coins right there and ready to use Savola when needed. It's certainly going to be close again. All of these games seem to have a common theme, which is that it's close. Unless you're playing against alumni. They are the exception to the rule. And there goes Jock. Alright, I'd say that paid off quite nicely. So now the spinners are also sort of gone, but not really. There's still ample ways to use your coins. I mean, King of Beggars is going to pop out as well, but I think you're going to want to play that Salamandra Mage before you play Savola, as you're going to be getting 2 extra coins if you do so. Nicely done. And this would appear to be Poisound's game, I'm going to be honest here. It doesn't look too great for Nequiz. It's rather close once again, but I suspect it might not be close enough. Very close. Wow. Damn. Okay, and Poisound takes the first game on red. Takes his syndicate list through once again. Exactly as we thought. So Poisound going for Northern Ramsey on blue coin, which is the favored option. Nequiz taking the old jackpot list through on a red coin. Alright, let's see. So Poisound already having quite a nice hand right there, having access to Amphibious Assault, Letitia. He has everything he really needs here to get going. Nequiz, on the other hand, drawing into King of Beggars, shuffling it away again. Definitely don't want that in your hand, especially if you run out of tributes. Though Jackpot seems to not really encounter that problem as much as Off the Books does with its tribute abilities costing less. Tivoli, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. And we see Letitia getting boosted for once. Definitely a good choice. In some of the previous games that did not happen, and as you guessed, Letitia did not survive. So also the thing with Jackpot is you can't use bits of coins where you need it. You have to go all in or not at all. Using all of your jackpots charge in one go, and that's not a commitment that's necessarily worth making. Poisound off to a very good start here. Nequiz on the other hand, a bit awkward. Uses Professor, gets that 4 coins, and now we have enough for the Passiflora Peaches to start ticking as a nice little engine. 1 point a turn. Okay, Barnard Student is back on the board. Fist tick, alright. And as we can see here, Nequiz actually does have another poison. And Letitia is used. Letitia is used, meaning that even if the Barnard Student dies, those points will be transferred onto the alumni. So a quick click there from Poisound. I think it was nicely done, to be fair. I'm curious how big the alumni are now. And we see Muzzle being used on Professor. People are going a bit wild with Muzzle at the moment. I guess it's nice to play in every deck and any deck. I don't really see it working in all decks, to be fair, because there are sometimes more synergistic options at one's disposal, but hey, if it works, I guess. Poisound just checks out. Oh my dear goodness, it's a tie. Oh, no wonder these games went so quickly, it's a tie. Both are on 5 cards. Oh my goodness. I did not expect this. Okay, so Nequiz willingly allowed this to tie. Nequiz definitely going to have enough to pull off King of Beggars. Though this Northern Realms list looks scary, and so far Northern Realms has won every single game against Syndicate thus far, at least in all of the finals. We can probably guess who's winning this one. I'm not allowed to guess, I have to be impartial. What are we killing? Oh, not killing Shani. Not necessary, is it? Okay, now we're gonna have 2 of those come out, and we draw Margarita as well as, okay, access to a warfare card. Not the worst draws, definitely not the worst, and if you're going to be thinning like that, you definitely want to be doing it now with the draw. Yeah, this is looking very good for Northern Realms. Very good. The Carabalista is also an interesting card to have in this deck, considering it's a 5 provision bronze versus the 4 provision bronzes most players have gone through to get the Siege Masters out. Very interesting. Okay, Courage with a bounty on Rafart's Vengeance. Are we gonna go for the winch or the boiling oil? We're gonna go for the winch. Alrighty. Not that it's enough. But it certainly boosted quite a bit. Alright, not bad, but it certainly doesn't feel enough. You can just see in the differences between cards in hand. There's just no way Nequiz is going to pull this one off. He simply does not have enough points in my opinion. Okay, we see that lock coming out on the Horizont Freak Show, as expected. Definitely have to deal with it the moment it drops onto the board. It's just far too powerful a spender and provides you with a lot of reach. I suspect we'll now see the Salamander Mage coming out. Yeah. Kangaroo of the Sand, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. I need context for that name. I see Australia and something to do with sand. We see Istrid coming out. Istrid, a card that all of these pros have in their deck. I can definitely see the value of it, but it's certainly new. The fact that people are actually playing it as meta. It wasn't played in all of the alumni lists back when I casted the Masters, I believe. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. But between that and then something has clearly changed. Supposed to be working? Same. Provision buff? I mean, it's cool that something so small can actually cause people to play it. I wonder who popularized it. And now, yeah, he just... Oh, you're gonna use Garrett? Okay. Because it's likely not getting killed. Go for another mage. Smart. Oh, wow. Okay, Savola coming out. That's a lot of points. That's certainly a lot of points. Is it enough is the question. Nick was taking his time to calculate this time around. Doesn't want to make a fatal mistake again. Come on, Nequiz. 2 clicks on the Sea Jackal. The rest can go anywhere. Doesn't matter. 2 clicks. Come on. 2 clicks. Yeah, another click. And the rest go on the King of Beggars. Yeah. Okay. Nicely done. Okay, let's see. Because Letitia actually survived, didn't she? So... These alumni are definitely not weak at this point. Oh my goodness. Oh, NR is taking it. Yeah, NR takes it once again. NR undefeated. What is this? Undefeated when it comes to syndicate matchups, that is. Well, GG, Poisound taking the second game. Is this going to be a 3-0? Taking Northern Realms through on blue, now left with Skellige on red. And, alright, Nequiz decides to go with Skellige v Skellige. That's quite interesting. Decides to take Skellige. Decides it's going to be best on blue coin against Poisound on red coin. No, this is a replay. The official cast took place yesterday on Spessie's channel. I'm just watching the game because I haven't watched it yet. Alright. He missed the bounty on Professor. Yeah, it was not good. Okay, got the melee boat out. Makes sense. Always a good way to start off with. Poisound at least drew part of the discard package, which isn't bad. Definitely something you'd prefer in this sort of matchup, whilst Nequiz didn't draw it. So has Skirmisher in hand as well as Morkvarg, and has a stratagem, Mask of Uroboros, but not Berna, not Heime Skald, and not Carl. So definitely not ideal. Definitely not ideal. This gives Poisound a significant advantage actually, because he can tempo ahead and try to win on even here. Alright, we see the little Hafu coming out there. There are definitely some small changes in these decks. They're not exactly the same. Ah, and there he goes, drawing Burn Bran. Nice, very nice draws. Gets Kara, gets Burn Bran. That's certainly what Nequiz needed, that's for sure. Yeah, and he passes. He passes. It's definitely a bit risky to go with another discard if your hand is already full of golds. All right. So we have a 2-card difference here between hands. But Poisound has round control, meaning he gets to decide what he wants to do here. Of course, pushing on 2 cards down is not exactly ideal. Alright, we see that Mushy Truffle coming out here. I suspect we're going to see a pass, but what's nice about Mushy Truffle is the fact that it has carryover, of course. 6 points carryover, which isn't bad. Yeah, and we do see that pass from Poisound on 7 cards. Now has Last Say, has 10 cards in hand for round 3, and both players' boards look similar here. Nequiz can throw some cards away if he really wants to. Goes for Burna Bran, draws Morkvarg and a Skirmisher. Not too bad, probably throws away one of the ranged boats as well as a Skirmisher, makes sense. Cheers Bigu, cheers. And both still have their Sunset Wanderers as well, neither is bled out yet. Alright. Ooh, there's a Heatwave in that hand. Interesting. Thanks, Rave. Alright. So, Nequiz has to go first. This is make or break. He cannot afford to lose this game or else he is out. He didn't miss cards either, really. Poisound, on the other hand. Yeah. You see that Heatwave coming out as well? So, goes for the little Halfer as a proactive card. Even though it lessens the turns that Sunset Wanderer will be in hand. That Uncrate Longship is going to be pretty nifty here, especially since there are 2 on Poisound's side. And it is swiftly stolen, but the lock sort of takes away from the value, doesn't it? Though, so far there's 23 points on Nequiz's side of the board, Poisound having 0. It looks like quite a difference, but really it isn't. Morkvarg is supposed to answer it, yes, but not everybody draws Morkvarg. It does happen that that isn't the case. It depends how lucky the players are. But it's definitely the ideal Morkvarg target, you're right. Alright. Do we see something similar from Nequiz's side? No, goes for the boat first. It makes absolute sense there. And the boat is gone. The boat is gone. You definitely don't want to keep it on the board for too long. It's almost a death sentence if you do. We see Fukusha coming out on Poisound's end. Goes for another boat. Huh. Now, I didn't see this surviving for long, I'm gonna be honest. I can see that being targeted, I must say. But of course the boat does not cost a lot, so the rain that it created is quite a nice payoff, I'd say. Some of it's going to hit the armor on the melee row, which is less than ideal, but still. We see that final leader charge coming from Nequiz's end. And instead of playing something like Junode, decides first to use his own ranged boats to ping it once. That makes sense. There's not exactly anything that can kill that boat right now. Or not anything that wants to kill it, of course. That Terror of the Sea is definitely going to stay there for now. Burner Brand coming out here. What is she drawing? A skirmisher and... ooh, a muzzle. Okay, that's not shabby. So obviously getting rid of the skirmisher and Morkvarg. Not bad. It's looking really good for Poisound here. Really good for Poisound. But then again, Nequiz has not yet played Morkvarg, hasn't played Junode, hasn't played Fukusha, so that needs to be kept in mind here. There's still a lot of points on the board. Mushi Truffle hasn't even been clicked yet, which is 6 points in itself. And Junode finally coming down there, killing the boat. Now, the plan was definitely to use the boat on the range sides to ping down the one on the melee. But with that Mushy Truffle boost, it wasn't a possibility. So the boat pinged the already damaged card instead of Junode, which is interesting. There must be a specific reason for that. Maybe it's to steal the card. Maybe it's the biggest target for the boat. Many reasons that could have happened. We see Fukusha going onto the board. And, okay, an 8-point little halfer. That's not bad. Some nice bonded cards there. Probably for value. Yeah, muzzle value. I'm suspecting the same thing. Then again, we see the other longship coming out now. Weird. It's a little thing. It doesn't actually make a big difference. As long as it gets damaged, the points are the same. I'm just curious if there was a reason for it. The only problem here is those boats might be massive, but they're only going to get as much value as is on the board, and right now both players have... the one has 8, the other one has 6. I think we're going to be facing another very close game. That muzzle is the only thing that would scare me, because it plays for more points than the Mushy Truffle does. And the boats are going to be playing for similar points, depending on if Nequiz clicks the little halfer or not. Otherwise, Poisound's going to get a full 8 points of damage out of his boat, whilst Nequiz is going to get 6 points. And that's all the difference in the world, right? Steals Morkvarg with the armor. Very nicely done. This looks like Poisound's game. But let's hold on a second. Let's not make up our minds just yet. It seems like Poisound might have 3-0'd Nequiz. We see the boat coming out here for 5 points. It will be able to damage 6 though. Goes for a 5-point boat instead. I mean, it would have played for 6 if used with the armor. Poisound takes it. Poisound 3-0's Nequiz. And Poisound is our second person to go through to open number 1. Absolute GG. Well, that was fun to watch. Okay, so if you did miss the official cast yesterday, remember you can catch that up as well by going onto Spessie's channel. I just did my own little recap because I haven't managed to watch it yet. But damn, that was insightful. Okay, so I now have a better idea of what to expect for the top 64 next weekend. Yeah, okay, so Poisound 3-0ing Nequiz there, Syndicate, Einar, Skellige. I wonder if we'll be seeing similar decks. Einar Alumni just amazingly well. So, yeah, okay. If I have to sum it up, Nequiz and Cams were the first bracket. Very, very close game they had. Exceptionally close. It came down to the T, and Nequiz accidentally did a misclick there in his Syndicate game, losing to Cams, and Cams went through to open number 1. Nequiz fell down into the losers bracket, went against Poisound. Poisound just straight up 3-0'd him. Probably had a long day, decided it was enough. And yeah, those are your 2 winners, folks. We'll be seeing them in open number 1 in April. Yeah, that was awesome. Very nicely done.